Welcome to the July edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. This August, Missouri voters will decide on Amendment 5, a proposal to phase out the state's individual income tax by 2032 and lean on a sales tax model to replace that revenue. To unpack what's actually in the amendment and what questions remain unanswered, MSBA Senior Director of Advocacy Caitlin Whaley and MSBA Senior Director of Finance Linda Quinley sat down and recorded the latest podcast episode of Always Bored, Never Boring.
It came out of the legislature, and the goal through this whole process has been they really want to eliminate the state income tax. So, as a reminder for folks, Missouri has nearly a flat income tax, not quite, but a pretty flat income tax, and they're wanting to push off the income tax and switch to a sales tax model.
Linda and Caitlin discussed just how much of the formula comes from general revenue.
And we know that in next year's formula, the amount that was appropriated, 58% of it is coming from general revenue. So those streams going into the general revenue pot are pretty important to us in public education.
Yeah, and so if it's over half, so the formula next year is $4.28 billion. Mm-hmm. So that means over two and a half billion roughly is what we're talking about in education alone.
Right.
That's coming from general revenue. And general revenue is not just made up of the income tax, but the income tax makes up about 60% of general revenue.
An income tax currently comes at a regular stream to the state because it's withheld from the employer. And that's a relatively even rate every month. So there's this steady stream of income going into the state right now, which makes their cash flow reliable, right? And so cash flow and income can be two different things and can react differently, but both the income and the cash flow are pretty reliable under an income tax methodology. When you go to sales tax, it's about how you and I decide to spend.
Again, we're shooting for replacing 60% of our general revenue, over half our general revenue. If you're off by even just a couple, points on that, it's going to be a big deal. Right. And so I wonder, about the kind of makes me go, kind of scared of what that looks like if you're banking 60% of your budget on that kind of a revenue stream.
Caitlin says that with a huge policy shift like this, it's important to stay informed.
My hope is that listeners can take away from this that these are some questions that you should be asking. It's an election year. You've got folks that voted for this out on the campaign trail. Mm-hmm. Ask them how it works. Right. Ask them what it means. Right. I think I want people to go in eyes open in August when they're making that decision and understand maybe a little bit what it means for their personal life, their professional life, their community, their neighbors, because this is a huge policy shift.
It's a huge long-term decision for us.
Just a reminder, listeners, the Missouri primary that this particular measure will be on is August 4th, with early voting starting not too far in the future. So take the time to educate yourself, get informed, and then show up on Election Day and let your voice be heard.
That's the way to do it.
To listen to Caitlin and Linda's entire discussion, check out the latest episode of MSBA's podcast, Always Bored, Never Boring. There are links to the podcast on the MSBA website, and you can also search for it on Spotify and YouTube. At the Delegate Assembly during MSBA's Summer Summit, Keisha Lee of the Ladue School District was sworn in as the 2026-27 president of the Missouri School Boards Association after serving as president-elect for the past year. She spoke to board members about her focus for the year ahead.
This is not a title. It is a sacred trust. I am committed to serving this organization with accountability, dignity, and integrity. I will serve and support this body as I represent each and every one of you and your school districts. I will serve and support the more than 900,000 students of this state who deserve nothing less than our very best. The stakes could not be higher for us to stand up, but we are committed. I am committed. I am committed to continue to serve, to continue to fight, to advocate without apology and without retreat for all that is public education in the state of Missouri, for all that is represented by our 500+ school districts and every child within them. I accept this nomination humbly, I accept it honorably, and I am proud, deeply, genuinely proud, to serve as your next president of MSBA.
MSBA state officers elected during the delegate assembly held at the summit include President-elect Riley Hartwell of the Joplin School District and Vice President Angie Reed of the Liberty 53 School District. That's it for this month. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in August for the next MSBA Board Report.